Okay, folks. Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. This is Mike's Instant Movie Review 80 for Brady. Okay, so before I spoil anything, non spoilers, should you go see this movie? Well, like I say for a lot of movies, usually for horror films, if you like horror films, you like this movie. If you don't like horror films, don't see this movie. 80 for Brady is not a horror film, it's a Tom Brady film. So if you like Tom Brady, I'd say, yes, go see the movie. You'll probably have a good time. If you don't like Tom Brady, if you find him to be a cheater or obnoxious, or what's he doing with his life, why won't he go away, then you probably won't like this movie. I enjoyed it. I'm a Tom Brady fan. Basically, most of this movie takes place in 2017. The victory over the Atlanta Falcons. And now I'll get into the spoiler mode. If you've seen the trailers or the previews or the news about this movie, it's based on a true story of four elderly women, uh, all about 80, some are younger than 80, who basically have this tradition of watching Tom Brady and the Patriots play football. I'll get into that in a second. And one of them is kind of battling cancer, the one played by Lily Tomlin. Lou, I believe her character name is. And she basically kind of lies to her friends, tells them that she's won 4 tickets in a radio contest, but in fact she hasn't. She's bought a bunch of tickets, 4 tickets from some scalpers, and they go to the Super Bowl, the 4 women. And they all have different backstories. It's one of those deals where there's an ensemble cast, and they try to make each of the 4 main female characters representative of something. You've got Sally Field, the woman that's been married to the same man for 51 years. She's a tinge in his shadow. He's a tinge codependent on her, however you want to look at it. You've got Rita Moreno playing the sad widow, basically. You've got Jane Fonda playing the, never been settled, never been fully satisfied by one man, dating persistently for her whole life, falling in and out of love, etc. And then you've got Lily Tomlin, who's basically the tough one, the survivor. She's got a daughter named Sarah, played by Sarah Gilbert, who was Roseanne's daughter, of course, for years. I guess Sarah, Gilbert is just good at playing daughters, okay? She seems to play the daughter role fucking very well, because she's pretty good in her limited amount of scenes. So it's kind of a road trip of sorts. It's kind of an NFL, the real shine on the NFL. I did notice some funny things. Bill Belichick has one moment on screen, but the name Bill Belichick or Bill Belichick is never mentioned once in this film. I thought that was interesting. Our buddy Rob Gronkowski, or Tom Brady's buddy Rob Gronkowski, gets a bit of a shine. The Jane Fonda character, as you probably saw in the preview of the commercial, has written like a fantasy sex book about Gronk, and he shows up late in the movie. Brady is one of the producers on this thing, and he gives himself a moment. He gives himself a little Oscar speech, just at the very end, Brady and Lily Tomlin's character Lou have this moment, and it's like Tom Brady's love letter to his fans. One thing that I thought was interesting going into this thing already was, look, things change, right? So this is a very Tom Brady in the Patriots uniform, and the footage was actually filmed at the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl victory in Houston. It kind of does make the conspiracy theorist in me think, was that Super Bowl a little rigged? If if Tom Brady was making this fucking movie at the time. But in any event, who knows? Just speculating. I like the movie. What the fuck? I was in a theater. Today was like a fucking Taboo Tuesday, $5 Tuesday in this theater. And people were just excited. There was people crying. There was people laughing throughout. People laughed more than I did, but I got some chuckles out of it. And it was kind of like a good old nostalgia trip for me, a tinge to go back to the good old days of watching Tom Brady in New England. And then, at the end of the events, they do a little not a forward, but a postscript type of thing, like a button of Tom in his relocation to Tampa Bay, which was nice. Holy God! So Tom Brady, not bad. I mean, could Tom pull off playing in a movie? He probably could with the right coaching. I am available as an acting coach, Tom Brady, core acting. I'm happy to assist you in your acting pursuits for a fee. But I did enjoy the film. I thought it was fun. Like I said, I think if you hate Tom Brady, this would give you more fodder to hate him. I did see, I don't really put over other fucking YouTube assholes because they don't put me over. But this Jaguar Gator 9 actually is a really good YouTube channel if you like sports trivia, if you like sports history, kind of the nuances of Super Bowl commercials and just weird things that have happened with, like, his specialty is this YouTube guy I'm telling you about, Jaguar Gator 9. His specialty is like obscure football stories, like just weird things that happened with the NFL. And he's got another channel for college football. He's starting a baseball one. I think the fucker's somewhere in Jacksonville. I'll have to pound fists with him at some point. I just got fucking a disease in my head. But in any event, I like this movie. I enjoyed this movie as a Patriots fan. Tom Brady fan. Go Tom. The commercials had me questioning. I hate, for instance, what was that? Jimmy Fallon, who I'm not a big fan of, no offense, but Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore did that fucking baseball movie with the Red Sox, and Jimmy in real life is a New York Yankees fan. So he's like, I had to really stretch my acting, muscles to play a Red Sox fan and Stealing Home or whatever that fucking baseball movie was about the 2004 comeback. And I'm just like, you know what? I just never bought Jimmy Fallon as a Boston guy. I just couldn't buy it. I did like in this movie that the main characters, the Rita Morenos, the Jane Fondas, it was interesting. She had one scene where she wasn't wearing a wig. It was kind of shocking because I was like, oh shit, she looks a lot different without her wig. But they weren't forcing like a Boston accent on Jane Fonda. If any of them had somewhat of a Boston accent thing going, it would have been Lily Tomlin. She had the most real acting, as the cancer person. She had the most real scenes to do, and I think she did well. That was a good choice. But they didn't make Moreno or Sally Field push the whole fucking thing. There was some scenes in this movie. Look, I mean, anytime you kind of rely on that, there's four, buddies or four characters, and they walk down an aisle in slow motion. Like, you've seen that a couple of times. If you see that more than once in the same movie, it's kind of hack. Like, okay, you're just putting minutes on the register here. And they did do that. They had a couple of scenes like that. And also, there's, product placements are flying left and right in this thing. They mentioned Carfax, I think, in one scene. The NFL experience, the NFL gets a big boost in this. So, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? If you don't like Tom Brady, if you don't like the commercialism of stuff, you probably wouldn't like that. There's also the movie relies on celebrities a lot. Like, there's a whole guy. I can't even say the guy's name right. Guy Frente. It's like, are you supposed to say that name like that? I've never really sat there and watched his fucking show. Is he the diners, dumps, and douchebags guy or whatever the fuck? But I've never sat there and watched his goddamn show. I've seen his fucking picture in a bunch of restaurants I've gone to. I guess I go to good restaurants. But it's like, I guess I'm supposed to finger bang myself about Guy Fieri like it's 2005 or 2009 or whatever the fuck. But sorry, I'm just not going to. So just that whole, whenever a movie relies on like pop culture people, and then there's like a poker game. I think she's playing poker with the famous transgender lady. I could be wrong. And other people of interest. And I just didn't know who the fuck they were. So that kind of like celebrity cameo is lost on me because I don't know who these folks are. That's all. But just sometimes the movies just push things. I think was it the Laverne Knox? Is that her name? She was in Orange is the New Black. I didn't really watch it, so I don't really know. Except they had the chick from the 70s show, and I never watched that fucking show either. So there you have it. Oh boy, there's a person coming. I gotta get going. There's a human being in my parking lot. I gotta go now because there's a human being in my parking lot. There's a human being here. Go see the movie.